Trouble for two big opposition leaders today. The day began with CBI raids against Karti Chidambaram, the son of former Finance Minister P. Chidambaram. A CBI FIR accuses Karti of taking kickbacks to help a TV channel get clearance for foreign investment from the Finance Ministry when it was headed by his father. A charge that both father and son have strongly denied, calling it a vendetta. In fact, the CBI has also got some scathing words for the former Finance Minister himself and his alleged role. The other big raids today were conducted by the Income Tax Department against RJD Chief Lalu Yadav. 22 locations in all in Delhi and Gurgaon were raided, where properties linked to Lalu and his children were looked into. They've been accused of amassing Benami property worth several crores. Again, a charge that Lalu has denied.
I think this is the day of reckoning has come for many.
Sir, just one second.
As he walks into a court in Bangalore, P. Chidambaram may try to keep up an appearance of business as usual, but not for long, if the CBI has its way.
The Advantage Strategic Private Limited is owned by close associates of Mr. P. Chidambaram, Mr. Karti Chidambaram.
His home in Chennai, which is shared with his son Karti, raided by the CBI after the agency filed a cheating case against Karti, saying he was paid kickbacks to help INX channel get a clearance for foreign investment from the Finance Ministry when it was headed by Karti's father, despite breaking the rules. The CBI's 12-page FIR claims that the INX promoters, Indrani and Peter Mukherjee, brought in 305 crore foreign investment, even though a government board had just cleared 4.62 crore rupees. It says that the channel also invested in NewsX channel despite not having permission. To get around this, the CBI claims INX paid 10 lakhs to a company run by Karti Chidambaram, who used his clout to get the Finance Ministry to bypass the rules. Implicating Mr. Chidambaram, the CBI says, such deceitful and fallacious deal was favourably considered by Ministry of Finance and approved by the then Finance Minister. The former minister denied this by saying, "The government using the CBI and other agencies is targeting my son and his friends. I shall continue to speak and write."
Revenge has become the DNA of BJP government. But we want to reiterate, neither Mr. P. Chidambaram nor any Congress leader would be cowed down or would fear from the politics of revenge and vendetta.
सवाल ये उठता है कि उन परमिशन के लिए, उन मंजूरी के लिए, निवेश की मंजूरी के लिए क्यों जिन लोगों को मंजूरी मिली उन्होंने कुछ कंपनियों को पैसा दिया जो कंपनियां उस समय के वित्त मंत्री के लड़के की हैं, उनकी मलकियत की हैं.
The CBI claims that it's not just 10 lakhs but is hinting that around 3.5 crores was allegedly paid to Karti Chidambaram as kickbacks. But it's going to be this allegation which might turn out to be the toughest to prove in court. With Sunetra Chaudhary in New Delhi, Tanima Biswas for NDTV.
अरे IT, इनकम टैक्स, ED, CBI, ये अलायंस पार्टनर है. ये जो कोशिश कर रहे हैं सिलदे जुबान शायर की, वो कभी नहीं होगा. अब ये लड़ाई दिल्ली से लेकर के कश्मीर से कन्याकुमारी तक लड़ेंगे. हमारा गठबंधन अटूट है, आवाम का गठबंधन है.
कहाँ छापामारी हो रहा है, ये तो कुछ दिखाई नहीं रहा है. और छापेमारी कर रहा है तो उसका क्या परिणाम है, क्या पर्पस है, ये सारी बातें जब तक सामने नहीं आती.
आप एक्सप्लेन कर दीजिए कि इतनी बड़ी बड़ी लगभग 1000 करोड़ की संपत्ति पूरे परिवार को कहां से आ गई. तो ये तो जांच होगी ना, ये तो जांच हो रही है.
Well, it really has been quite a day as far as the political headlines are concerned. Joining us tonight, Nalin Kohli, spokesperson of the BJP, Pawan Khera, spokesperson of the Congress Party, Mr. Pawan Verma of the JDU joins us tonight, and senior journalist Aarti Jairath here in the studio with us. Pawan Khera, to you first. Today, the Congress dismissed all of this as political vendetta, saying that revenge and registration of false cases has become the DNA of the BJP. Right. Why are you quick to dismiss this purely as vendetta?
Nidhi, we see a pattern here. And when Amit Shah and Modi ji said Congress booked Bharat, we stupidly believed that they meant it was through the ballot. We didn't realize it was through the ED, through the CBI, through the income tax department, and last through the ballot, through a section of the media, sorry. But this is the Mahagathbandhan which this BJP has entered into. What are the partners? CBI, ED, income tax, and some channels. So this Mahagathbandhan is what is meant by when they say Congress Mukt Bharat. And we see a pattern, you see action against everybody who speaks against them. Anybody who has a strong voice, they'll get after that person through all their tamed, caged parrots, you want to call them, crows, some of them are crows sitting in the channels, some of them are parrots sitting in government buildings.
Having said that, if the cases don't have a leg to stand on, then they're not going to pass muster in court. So why not let the law take its course?
Absolutely, but you know the courts take a lot of time. In that time period, you have elections, you will kill the reputations of people, you will demoralize people, silence them into, tame them into silence, and get your one more victory in your cap.
So, Nalin Kohli, how does the BJP look at these sort of accusations that the government is using agencies? It was a charge that was made against the Congress when it was in power. Today, that accusation is being made against you, and when you look at it, all the top leadership of the opposition, whether it's Lalu Yadav, the Gandhis now, you have Mr. Chidambaram, Arvind Kejriwal, Mamta Banerjee, they are beleaguered in some way or the other by cases against them or their party members.
Well, one good advice anyone could profess to them is don't get involved in scams and don't do these kind of things. There's no problem then at all. Let me give you an alternative pattern. In 2012 or 13, around that time, we've seen earlier a little bit, there was a whole statement on zero loss. What happened of 2G? What happened of Colgate? What happened of all the scams that came out? And each one they went into the courts. The BJP was not in government. The BJP took no decision. Whether it was Augusta Westland, and we've had an Italian court coming up with a conviction, not a BJP-run government coming up with it. So I think with regards to, let's again look at the court process.
Nidhi,
Sonia
what
Gandhi
happened in
and
the court
Rahul
in all
Gandhi,
these so-called scams?
The court has just
whether
now
it's
rejected
2G,
them,
whether it's
from
coal,
we can't appear
and even in
before the income
Augusta,
tax.
which
Mr.
political
Chidambaram
leader was
12.
convicted?
In 2000,
Now, these are observations, oral observations that they keep using to attack us.
I mean, if somebody wants to be in a
What
shouting
happened in
brigade,
the court is my
ask
question.
him to do a dharna outside the BJP office. Let's not convert the studio into a dharna manch.
No. So, the accusation, is it just a coincidence? My question is it just a coincidence?
I haven't finished. So, I'll
go
finish
ahead.
when I have my time to say so.
So, go ahead.
Yes. So, therefore, now building further, that I was saying, Mr. Chidambaram, and if I remember, it was May 2012. The month I am not sure of, but it was probably May 2012, read out a statement of Karti Chidambaram when the questions on the Axis ASL deal was raised. And the BJP had raised an objection. How can the Minister of Finance read out a statement by his son in the House, invoke Jesus Christ, and that too when questions were asked? This rocked Parliament again in 2016. Every time Mr. Chidambaram's answer has been, law will take its own course. So if the agencies work, they are damned. If the agencies don't work, they are damned. Now let's look at all the names you are talking about. Does Lalu Prasad Yadav require a certificate of honesty after the fodder scam conviction? After the latest judgment of the Supreme Court saying that the trial must continue in separate places? Does Narda, Sharda and all you guys, every media channel has covered, seen bribes being taken by people of the TMC, seen all kinds of things being happening in the chit funds, bid for action. So if they take it, are we to say that it's political vendetta? If we go one step further, we talk of Misa now, she's the latest. If you talk of Vadra, that's another one. There's a commission report presented to no less than the Supreme Court. India is not a banana republic. The courts will clearly adjudicate against the corrupt and clearly
and
in
all your
favor of the
points are
agency
valid
that does a
points.
good job.
All your points
and
are
with
valid
regards
points
to Mr. Jaitley, as he said it, I want to last point.
I just want
last
to get
point on Mr. Jaitley, just one thing. If shell companies are created, transactions take place, they have to be investigated.
No, so I want to ask Mr. Pawan Verma on Lalu Prasad Yadav in particular, Mr. Verma. Does it make it harder and harder for Nitish Kumar to continue with this alliance in Bihar? Because this goes against the very grain of what Nitish Kumar wants to stand for, which is good, clean governance. It's already been a strained alliance for those very reasons. And does it make it harder when you have the headlines about Lalu's properties being raided and disproportionate assets and all kinds of wealth being amassed? Does it make it difficult?
If you believe Nidhi, let me give you an honest answer. That the allegations themselves will weaken an alliance which was entered into on the basis of a carefully worked out political plan, then certainly the alliance is weakened. But we believe that allegations have been made by a senior leader of the BJP in Bihar on a daily basis. Equally, allegations have been made by the RJD against that senior leader of the BJP also on a daily basis. Now, allegations need to be substantiated and put under the scrutiny of a court of law. Mr. Nitish Kumar had clarified in a public press conference that if the central government through the income tax department, and because these cases pertain to the Companies Act, wishes to probe these allegations, they are welcome to do so. Because as you know about Mr. Nitish Kumar, and I am telling you that all those who are associated with him also know that, there is a zero tolerance to corruption. If these allegations lead to substantial findings of wrongdoing, there will be consequences which I cannot predict now. But at this moment, they are allegations. And I want to make one point here because that is germane to your debate. I say, please fight corruption. And I say, don't hold anyone immune to this due process of law. But I do find it a little disconcerting, Nidhi, that somehow in the net of corruption, you only seem to find political opponents of the BJP or those who have the temerity to be critics of the current government. I ask you, if your attitude to corruption is to eradicate it, what has happened, for instance, to the very substantive allegations which remain uninvestigated with regard to the Lalit Modi scam and the financial dealings in Rajasthan? I ask you, why is the CBI proceeding at a snail's pace in the biggest scam in the country involving the largest number of deaths in Madhya Pradesh? I ask you, what is the position of the CBI in terms of the allegations relating to the PDS rice scam in Chhattisgarh? I ask you these questions. What has happened to the export of basmati rice to Iran via Dubai, 1,000 crore scandal, which the CBI does not seem to have projected in the same dramatic manner as it seems to do when certain political opponents are involved. So my last point to you is this. Fight corruption. Fight corruption. But don't use it as a weapon. And if anyone is proved to be corrupt, let the law take its course. That is the position, I think, that should be there in a constitutional
Nalin, before
democracy.
I get you to respond, I just want to ask Aarti that this is an unfortunate cycle that, you know, when the UPA was in power, the CBI was called a caged parrot. There are similar allegations being made now when the UPA, when the Congress is in opposition. At the end of the day, are we going to get to the bottom of, you know, any of these investigations fairly? That's the question.
That's the whole, sort of problem, Nidhi, because firstly, these cases just drag on and on and on and on. I mean, this Aircel Maxis thing has been going on for years now, you know. So, and every time the government changes, you know, we find the CBI being used in a different way. So, you know, what were important cases when the UPA was in power suddenly seem to have, you know, gone on the back burner. And what are important cases today when the BJP is in power, if the BJP should go out sometime in the future, who knows that some other government comes in, those cases will go on the back burner. Now, the point here is, Nidhi, that, you know, there are two aspects to this. One is, of course, the criminality and the offences, the corruption, you know, all the charges that have been made, and they should be investigated, and they must be investigated quickly, so that, you know, we bring things, we punish whoever's involved if they're guilty. We should not let them drag on. The other is the political aspect, and, you know, I'm afraid it is difficult to not talk about the political aspect because Aircel Maxis has been investigated now for some years. These allegations against Karti Chidambaram were known for some time. Lalu's properties were known for some time. This government has been in power for 3 years. Why has it chosen to pick up these cases now, one after another? at a time when it's celebrating its 3rd anniversary and it's just 2 years away from the next general election.
So, Nalin,
I think the timing, you know, there are question marks about the timing.
But having said that, if any wrongdoing has been done, if any criminality is there, then the government is well within its right to act.
Absolutely, and they should do it quickly.
But Nalin, on the political questions that have been raised both by Pawan Verma and Aarti here, and the timing, you know, of all these cases and these raids.
I'll answer both. Now, actually, there are 3 points. One is what Mr. Pawan Verma raised in terms of various scams that he's alleging. Aarti has, of course, raised 2 things, the timing, and she's also spoken about the CBI and the investigation process being slow. I'm going to answer all of them as briefly as possible. A, there is one case at least that I've witnessed in front of my eyes on the charges that Mr. Verma is making, is the Vyapam case which he was referring to in the Supreme Court, and I've stood there in the proceedings. Luckily, I wear a lawyer's hat too, so I do see things happening in the court. And there was exemplary words, it's part of the order, spoken for the CBI, done in terms of the investigation they were doing in Vyapam. One of the latest orders now is the so-called whistleblowers in trouble for coming up with a fabricated thing. That whistleblower was brought by none other than Mr. Digvijay Singh to the court, alleging that bad investigation is being done. His demand at that time that it should go to the CBI was rejected by the Supreme Court. Till Mr. Shivraj Singh Chauhan said, please give it to the CBI so that no charge can come against us that we are withholding it.